Well, good morning, YouTube. All right, guys, some of you that watch the other channel know that a couple of weeks ago, we had some tornadoes come through our property. It was the day that we set up in Myrtle Beach. So that was Wednesday, 2 weeks ago. Today is Tuesday. So yeah, tomorrow I guess will actually make 2 weeks. So after we got set up in Myrtle Beach, I got a call from my daughter late in the evening. It was like 11:30 or midnight about the storms coming through. Now, I touched on this a little bit on the other channel, but I understand also that many of the people that watch that channel watch it for the motorcycle rally content specifically, and I didn't want to dilute that content with this personal stuff. So I decided that we put this up on this channel because those of you that are watching this channel, this is the stuff that you want to see. This is the stuff that you care about in addition to that. So here we'll go into a little bit more detail. So he said it was like 11:30 at night. She called me trying to get into the crawl space under our house because the storms were getting bad and there was apparently tornado warnings and one had been spotted on the ground nearby. So we finally got them to where they could get under the house and they rode it out there for quite some time. Of course, next morning, the sun comes up and we can see the extent of the damage. And it was quite a bit. Luckily, the houses are fine. I got a couple of metal roof panels that are lifting, a little bit of soffit damage, but the main structures of where we live was fine. The family was fine. So that's the important part. And everything else we're going to go over here is stuff that can be fixed or dealt with accordingly. What really sucked about the whole situation is that we weren't home. Not that I'd want to be here during the storm, but I hated that I wasn't here with my family and I wasn't here for cleanup afterwards because we were just getting started in Myrtle Beach and we had to be there for another 2 weeks. Now, right now, I am standing in my driveway, which is clear, but you see there's still a lot of debris. But that next morning, they couldn't get out. There were so many trees down along the driveway and the road coming into the house that they had to climb in and over and around trees to get out.
Oh God. You're so fast.
This neighborhood is damaged from that tornado.
Now, the houses were without power for a couple of days, but I think about 48 hours they had the power turned back on. Unfortunately, internet didn't get repaired until just a few days ago, so it's been almost 2 weeks without internet, which did dampen Michaela a little bit on getting her work done because she needs the internet to do her job. But it's all up and running now, so that's good. So fast forward 2 weeks almost, and last night we made it home from Myrtle Beach, and this is the first time we've got to see the damage. I mean, it was still daylight when we came home last night. Those of you who watch the other channel, you know, we talked about it briefly, but I didn't show in detail. So today we are going to take a walk around the property and show you exactly what's going on. And in about 15 minutes, the insurance adjuster should be here. So he's going to have to look at all this stuff. And I don't even know the extent of the damage yet. So I'm going to take a minute to walk around, figure out exactly what's going on so that I know what things to point him in the direction of. Never made a homeowner's claim before in my life, so I don't know how this is going to work. So there is definitely a lot of trees down, and we're going to have a lot of chainsaw work to try to get it taken care of. Zach already did some people came and helped clear the driveway, the road, so access is all back, but a lot of the debris is still just kind of off to the side. Luckily, I've got a tractor. It'll help move some of that debris around. But nonetheless, it's still going to be a lot of work. Now, my trucks are parked here. My dually, which is here at the moment, was parked right there. And that tree, I guess, when it fell, it came all the way out to here. So it almost hit the excursion. but it did not. And a couple of these trees here that are laid that way, those are the ones that we had cut down just before bike week that I never got around to cleaning up. But this big pine that's running across the top, that came down in the storm. So we've kind of cleared it out that way. And of course you can see the shed that we were trying to save by cutting those other trees down is no longer savable. You see that the shed itself is shifted completely. Part of it's leaning up against that tree where there was plenty of gap there. I could walk through there before. From this point, the shed doesn't look bad, but when you look through, the entire back wall is completely gone. I guess some of my tools were scattered about over there. Like that weed eater was actually hanging on that back wall. My chainsaw was hanging on that wall also, and I don't even see it, so I don't know where it is at this point. I had a still hedge trimmer in there as well, hanging on that back wall. It may be down into the debris back there, I'm just not sure. Zach said he saw the weed eater out there, so he grabbed it and brought it in. Hopefully it's not bent and it all works okay. Of course, coming around this side, just see a whole lot more tree debris down. You can see this one here, this root ball, and a big hole here where it came out. Looks like that's the one that actually hit the shed and took it out. Even just looking back in the woods, there's lots of stuff down that wasn't down before. You walk around my storage building this way. Now this right here is not a house. This is just a storage building. We just store all the stuff that we don't want in our house. We don't need that often in there, like Christmas decorations and other fall decorations, some of the kids' keepsakes and things that Katie doesn't want to get rid of, old business records, stuff like that. We just kind of store out here so it's not in our house or in the office and in the way. It doesn't look like it took very much damage, which is good. But unfortunately, this is my son's Caprice Classic, which was his grandfather's on his mother's side. And I don't know how bad a shape that's in until we cut the trees off. But it's obviously damaged. The back windshield is shattered. Looks like one of the side windows is shattered. And of course, my poor Bronco, you can barely see it, is sitting right there with the big tree on top of it. We'll run around the other side, get a better view. Check it out. The moo cows are back. They just been living here lately. Michaela has named the bull Carl. I don't know if she's named the heifer or not. I was thinking maybe like Mildred, maybe Daisy. I don't know. All right, luckily my international pickup truck did not get hit by any tree damage. I know it looks rough because it's in bad shape, but that's a future project. Unfortunately, the Bronco did not fare so well. You see up here, the roof is crushed in, the windshield is shattered, the hood is buckled, the fender is buckled. Can't really tell from this angle, but the driver door window is shattered as well. And of course, the Caprice buried under there also. Not gonna be a fun project to cut the trees off of that. All right, back here, just lots of trees down. This is all part of our yard that we can't even access now. And of course, if you hear off in the distance, there's lots of teams out here still cleaning up tree mess. So the power company got power restored, but I don't know if you noticed how low these power lines are. I can literally touch them over here. These trees fell on them and knocked them down, obviously, during the storm. And they cut them up enough to get them repaired, but I'm assuming more's got to be done. And just, guys, that's 12 feet, 13 feet tall to the top of this tree line here. It's a lot. Yeah, that's my power line, nose level. I'm hoping they're still planning on fixing that. Just trying to absorb a little bit of zen before we continue the tour. What's up, Carl? Hi, Mildred. All right, and as far as our house goes, you can see that some of those roof panels have been lifted there. It looks like some damage over there. And the corner that you can barely see just past the porch extension is lifting off as well. All right, coming around here to the front corner, you can see it's lifting off right there as well. And it pulled the screws out. Luckily, my brand new garage door didn't take any damage. I would have cried about that. And I believe that that roof lifting is the extent of the damage to my and Katie's house. And I'm very thankful for that. Whether we're gonna have to replace the whole roof or what, I mean, I kind of wanted to do a new roof anyways. Someday, just isn't in the budget right now. Somehow I doubt the insurance company is gonna replace the whole roof. They're probably gonna wanna try to find a way to kind of half-ass repair that. We'll see. All right, so now moving around the back of my shop building, which is now attached to Michaela's house. We got some soffit damage over here. Obviously a whole bunch more trees down. And up there, that section of soffit just gone. And the fascia. And when you come around the corner, there's a piece of soffit and fascia just hanging down. Now this section and this section of our property is all wooded, but even if you look through there, there's just trees leaning over that are just kind of balanced on other trees. Luckily, they're all leaning away from the home. You see this one here, it's pulled up, but it's because another tree caught it and bent it or something. I don't know. We had recently been discussing just pulling this whole clump of trees out, only because how close they are to the building, and they actually lean towards the building. So it was going to be one of our summer or maybe this winter projects to cut them down, get everything away from the buildings, just to prevent any future damage. And of course, here's another big one. Look at the size of the hole underneath that. I mean, I could literally crawl down inside there and make a fort if I wanted to. So that's definitely a big tree. Then right over there, you can see the root ball of another one sticking up right there. And there's even another one up there. And it just continues on and on. Giant root ball right here on the other side of the struggle bus. There's another one. Luckily, the struggle bus didn't get hurt too bad. A little bit of gutter damage on Michaela's house. And the one tree that I'm disappointed it didn't take is this one right here. That tree forks at the bottom, and one fork up, the one that goes up this way, seems to be perfectly healthy. The one that comes this way and leans towards the house, not so good. Because the winds were blowing that way, it would have been great if it would have taken that one out. Because that's one of the first ones I want to drop, because it's literally leaning over the house, and it's already dead. So it's just a matter of time until it comes down, but it's a big tree close to the house. I'm gonna have to be really, really careful taking it down myself, but it'd been nice if the storm would have done that one for me. All right, other side of the struggle bus, some more giant root balls down. See, that one is up against the struggle bus just a little bit. And back into the woods, just more and more and more. All right, the adjuster is here. It's coming down the driveway right now, so we'll continue this tour later, but that's most of it for here, the property. But still, the rest of the neighborhood coming in rough. All right, well, the adjuster just left, and I went and made myself some more coffee. Now we'll take a walk down the driveway and look at the rest of it now that we've seen what's going on up here on the property. Now, the nice thing is the adjuster was a really cool guy. He kind of built a little bit of confidence in the way I was feeling about this. And there were even some things that, you know, he put on there that I wouldn't even have considered that he's going to give us credit for. Don't know any numbers or anything yet. It'll take him some time to, you know, write up and do what he does. But hopefully he's going to be fair and make things reasonable. You know, the one tricky thing is there are some things I may have to pay people to do only because of time constraints. There's nothing here that's damaged that I can't fix myself. But the thing is, we have to be in Laconia in 2 weeks. Some of these things I can't let wait. So in order to get them done in time or get them done while I'm gone, I may have no other option but to hire somebody to come out and do some of it. So hopefully they will be compensating for that as well. All right, guys, so standing in the driveway, you can see all of these trees down here. Some of them are still just leaning back, and obviously the pile here where they were cut up, these trees were going across the driveway. There's a lot of tree mess over here. There's trees down over there. More big giant root balls up in the air. Look back in there, there's a big tree laying on its side. This whole area here was kind of somewhat open. You see the breaks in those trees right there. There's a whole bunch more right here. Michaela and Zach said, you know, the gate was closed when the storm happened, but trees fell just this side of the gate and just the other side of the gate. They couldn't even get the gate open without cutting up the trees first. Nothing hit the gate, but literally 2 feet on either side of it. Looks like my deck board fence held up. Doesn't look like anything actually hit it. Now, Zach also said that our power gate opener isn't working, so I got to figure out why. You know, it's battery powered, so it shouldn't really need electricity, but there is power out there just to run the battery charger. But they didn't use it while the power was out, so I don't know why it just decided to not work. Whole nother mess of trees here. Oh, some broken right there. And actually looks a little weird coming through here with the sunlight coming in, because normally it's relatively dark here because of the tree coverage. But you can see that tree right there is broken off, and that tree was providing shade. It is now laying on the ground instead. This is one of the big ones that the kids were having to climb through on their way out that you saw in that earlier clip. So it was covering the entire road and going up this side as well. And of course, a whole bunch more here. Now this was like our little pull off onto that new property that we bought, which is, you know, back there in the trees. So yeah, we definitely can't pull off into here now with all of the debris here. And up here, look back in there, you see there's a tree pointing the wrong direction. Looks like there's only a couple of trees, like there's one right over there on the new property that went down. Now there's one there that looks like it's leaning pretty good too. All in all, it doesn't look too awfully bad. But I will say, in the month that we were gone, wow, did it turn green in the growth. Remember, we were still kind of in the early parts of spring when we left, and some things were blooming, but not all. But now it looks forest. It was just barren trees when we left for the most part. Looking way up above my head, there's trees kind of sideways there. At some point, those will probably fall down the rest of the way. They may end up down here on the road. Well, from up on top of the hill, you can see there's definitely more trees down than I thought at first. All down there on the property, there's a whole clump of them down there. I'm assuming the power company came and cut most of these, because that is a brand new power pole they obviously had to put in. All right, and here is the property line between our property and our neighbor David. He had quite a few down. All right, so up here by the neighbor's house, again, more trees just toppled over. You can see that one didn't have a very deep root structure. All the way up the hill, there's trees down, big openings up there. Now this is my neighbor's house, and they had quite a few trees down too, but the tree guys came out here and got them taken care of already. All right, you can see this one next to my neighbor Howard. That one's leaning up on top of trees. It's still going over the roadway some. At some point, it may have to come down as well. And unfortunately, my neighbor Howard, tree landed on his house. He broke his chimney off, went right through his roof into his living room. And apparently it totaled his wife's car and did some damage to his truck as well. You know, and as bad as the damage seemed, you know, at our place and even at Howard's losing his chimney, we're still pretty thankful, because there was one house in the neighborhood that I don't know if it got struck by lightning or if it caught fire because of power lines falling down on it. But anyway, it caught fire, and because of all the downed trees, the fire department was not able to get here to save it. And that house was a total loss. It burnt right to the ground, which is very unfortunate. So, you know, thoughts and prayers definitely go out to those people. Well, guys, that's about it in a nutshell. At this point, I just got to figure out what my game plan is going to be. I think I'm going to start by trying to find my chainsaw. I think it's down here in this mess somewhere. I just don't know where. I did find another chainsaw inside that building that's not mine. I don't know whose it is. It's an old Craftsman sitting right here. But 2 pulls and it fired right up and it seems to work. So I'm going to cut some of the tree limbs that are going through that area back, try to find the rest of my tools that are down there. And I guess we'll just start getting to work on this stuff. And luckily, as I was talking to my neighbors, David and Donna, I guess that the tree company that came out to cut the trees up that were on the road, they are planning to come back and clean up all that debris that's along the road, because I was going to whip out the tractor, start cleaning that up. But if somebody else is going to take care of it, I'm going to focus more on the stuff that's on our property. And then if I need to go out there and help out with that, I definitely will. But at least I can change my priorities just a little bit and focus on things that are a little bit more important to me at the moment. But I think we're going to end this one here. Now you guys know what's going on, and we will keep you updated as progress happens. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time I see you, keep those engines running. Just a little bit more zen.